Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Yes. Oh, okay, awesome. So today we'll be talking, diving deep into Guidewire ecosystem, and we'll see on the PolicyCenter how to create an account, what is an account, and learn a little bit, navigate further, right? So, like I mentioned in all previous classes, that Guidewire, in the Guidewire ecosystem, there would be PolicyCenter, right? So PolicyCenter is for policy creation, where your policy number will be generated. BillingCenter is for all the invoicing, payment, etc. And ClaimCenter would be for managing the claims, any claims is being raised, payment for claims, etc. Right? So this is how PolicyCenter, ClaimCenter, and BillingCenter are categorized. We'll be mainly focusing on the PolicyCenter. Inside PolicyCenter, there are a lot of stuff which we'll be seeing throughout the session. So understand the very first step is the policy submission, right? Which is nothing but a policy number we generally create. So for an example, when you're seeing your normal day-to-day life, also if you want a policy, right? Everybody has an vehicle, right? And if you want to policy. So the first one will be you will be given a policy number, right? So in order to take that particular policy number, there has been a number of steps which has been involved through the company. Okay, so any XYZ company, who is the company who is giving a customer a policy. So there are various input data which is required, and which is why the company will enter all the data. So that particular process is being, when policy number is being generated, that process is called policy submission, right? We'll definitely see underwriting, what happens in underwriting, policy servicing and renewal and all those things, right? Similarly, there are something in the ClaimCenter side. We'll see that also. What is first notice of loss? There is something which happened, and then you are notifying your particular company that, okay, the car is under accident, or there is something which has happened which you need a claim from the company, because ultimately, if you're taking a policy, right, if you're securing your risk, so something happens in that particular event, your company has to pay the price, right? The insurance company has to pay. So always understand the insurance company is called insurer, and the person who is taking the policy is called insured. Okay. So and an insurance company is also called carrier. Okay, so understand that. And BillingCenter system is all about like invoicing, sending the invoice, collecting the payment for that particular policy. Okay. Any doubt anybody has? Do you guys understand Guidewire ecosystem? And sometime whenever you have full suite implementation, when it is being, you will hear that is full suite implementation. Understand that it is for the PolicyCenter, BillingCenter, or ClaimCenter. So when it is into the Guidewire ecosystem system, it is very easy for each center to talk to each other, right? Because for the Guidewire, so PolicyCenter can talk to BillingCenter and can talk to PolicyCenter can talk to ClaimCenter. So it's in one ecosystem, right? So it's very easy, very smooth integration which will happen, and which is why most of the time you'll see that's a full suite implementation where it is consist of PolicyCenter, ClaimCenter, and BillingCenter. Okay.
Neha,
Now,
Sushila, this side, one question. So, does Guidewire have capability to integrate with any other system outside, like other than these three system which integrate or talk to each other? Can it integrate with others outside system as
yeah,
well?
for sure. Yeah, for sure. We will. So there, see, the moment I said these are three different systems which is required from an insurance company, right? So policy, for an example, anybody ABC person is taking a policy from XYZ company, number one step, right? So that particular person is securing his or her risk, right? If it is like take auto or home as an example, number one. After that, the ClaimCenter and BillingCenter, you understand that. But you understand that from the BillingCenter system, right? Taking the payment, right? Having a payment, there would be like check, such kind of integration which has been there, and for which Guidewire will be integrated, right? So understand that from that perspective, that this is not only talking, this is integration for this three system to talk smoothly. but understand there could be a number of steps where the things are coming from, right? Through the API web service. So definitely Guidewire has to do that. And that's where it comes like there will be, you see that there are BAs who are completely working for integration, right? Integration BA will be working for all this mapping and etc. So yeah, so that's how you will see, as in when we will learn a little more, we will see that where can those kind of integration comes, etc. Okay, so we are very start into the phase. We have not gone there yet. Okay. So now, okay. So I was telling the other day a little bit about life cycle of a policy, right? So it's a start from submission issuance. Don't worry about this thing. Definitely there are few people we know in our and always try to understand and relate what is how we have a US market which is working and going on. So understand there will be like eligibility criteria also, not that like, okay, I have a very less score. I want a credit score for that, say, then whether I'll be eligible for taking policy and all. That is that kind of evaluation. You don't have to worry about. Now you have to understand that how I will be able to create a policy. Okay, what is the meaning of policy and what happens to the Guidewire PolicyCenter system? Okay, so start from here. Now we will see all this particular process, but start the basic one, what is submission and what it is consist of. Okay, so now moving on to the submission. Okay, so for an example, this is my Guidewire PolicyCenter, and once you will get enrolled, you'll be able to see Guidewire PolicyCenter, right? So you'll be able to, the studio installation and everything will happen from Location will provide you every input. So you'll be able to see the screen will be given to you so that you can also start working by your own, right? So class step will not be more than enough, but you have to practice. Okay, so now I'm using a general username and password currently, okay, to log into the PolicyCenter system. Once you logged in, this is how the system is going to look like. Okay. Give me a second once. All right, sorry about that. So this is how the system is looking. Now, understand the very basic, okay? So in order to create a submission and start gathering information about people, okay? So what Guidewire has, in Guidewire system, you need to create an account. Okay, you need to have an account. Under this account, we'll be creating a submission and the policy. Okay, so first and foremost thing is very important to create an account, right? So why is this account needed? The reason behind is that you'll be what if happens when any company, insurance company XYZ, and the customer calls and they are already existing with that particular customer, right? For an example, if I am already working with one of my insurance company and I have my personal auto policy from that particular company, and tomorrow I also want for my home insurance company from that particular company, right? So I will directly call them and they'll try to search me whether I am already there into that or not. And if I'm there into their system, that means that there is one account which is with them, okay, for me, which was for my auto. Okay, auto insurance. And I said I'm the same customer, right? So under that account, so I'm the same person who will be paying for my auto and or for my home also, right? There's no separate person. So I'll call them up. They have an account and they will try to create in that particular account one policy for me for my home insurance. Okay, so which is why first irrespective of anything, you'll have in one account you can have multiple policy, in one account you can have one policy also, right? So depends circumstances. And whenever we are thinking, we are not only thinking about our like a small space like individually you and me and I. No, it comes like Guidewire or the insurance company which is giant and it work for big businesses with big rental properties, big autos, so many things. So we have to really broad our perspective to understand that, right? So that time, so suppose, so even a business owner also, right? If a business owner person has one business of rental property, commercial building, and they also have commercial vehicle, right? So they can definitely, that one person is like from one entity, one company, the amount is going, right? Then it doesn't make sense that have multi-segregated forms. So they'll try to collate it into that particular account. So that's the funda behind it, right? So now, so whenever
Neha,
you
this
come
account
here,
means Neha, this account creation means it is particular to an individual or a company as a customer. Am I
very
right?
good question. It can be both. We'll see it. Very, very good question. It can be both. So that's what I was coming to my next part. So glad you guys are understanding very well. So yes. So now in here you are seeing, right? Applicant information, correct? So company name, okay? Company name is an exact match. Like this is nothing. This is a checkbox. Do not worry so much whether it is existing. So first, what we are trying to do is we are trying to locate, right? I gave you the example, right? So for an example, if I'm calling my company and they don't know, I'm not that famous person that they will know if I call them and say, hey, I am such a such person, and they will know me, right? I'm a simple, normal human being. Nobody will remember anybody. So I call them and say, this is my name and I want to take one policy. So the first course of action is trying to search whether I'm there in this particular system or not, okay? So that's what in here. So like you said, that whether it will be for the company and individual. So when I'm doing for the company, okay, so when I'll create for the company, it will be for the company, and either I have to create only one. So if it will be a first name and last name, then it will be for the personal, okay? So let's do that, okay? First, we will try to search both the things on this one and show you how it is, right? So I'll just say that, okay, company name. Okay, I'll do this exactly everything exact match. So I will say the company name as Tension. Okay, Tension LLC. Just some random name. Okay, I'll try to search. What is it saying? The search returned zero result. That means this is my company, for an example, and just these are hypothetical examples. So try to relate it, right? Don't try to think so much. Try to relate it. So suppose I'm an owner of Tension LLC, and I just went for a policy, right? It is here. In here, when I try to search it, it says that this is not found. That means that I have to create an account for Tension LLC. Okay. Now I'll show you something else. For example, let it be this one. Okay. I'm giving this name in here. So I will give this name as Anthony. Okay. This is a name, first name and last name. Let's do that. See here what it is coming, and Virbhadra ji, this is your answer. So I put the company name as Tension LLC. Also, I did put that first name and last name. Okay. So I try to search both the things. So now this is error. Please specify either company name or a person name, but not both. Right. So these are the kind of things you'll see that Guidewire already has it. So now it should be either a personal account or it should be either a company account. So which is why you are seeing that. I purposefully gave this to show you that how this will look. So if I remove any of this and just put one, then I should be able to create it. Okay. Making sense to any question? You guys are following?
Yeah, Neha. So, company name here is commercial insurer, right? Or commercial insured, and the first name, last name is related to individual insured, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it correct? My understanding.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, exactly. It's correct.
Okay.
But I would refrain from thinking too much about those things right now. Okay, we
Okay.
will see one-on-one, but try to understand like what is this account meaning, what is the use of it, can we create like account and a person. So we are going to away right now. We will definitely see all those things. All the doubt will be clear. But if we refrain from like understanding from here, this one, like there's a company, right? So commercial company can have all this kind of a policy. Personal is a completely personal line, right? So that is definitely very understood. So we'll see also line of business and all those things. But we are trying to understand from here that, okay, either it's a company or a personal, right? It cannot be both. my only purpose for that is right now. So first, okay, we'll remove this, okay, and we'll remove it. We'll see for the personal person, okay. Now I'll see the error is completely gone away, okay. So that is now fine. These are the checkbox where this is exactly looking for the name, exact match, or you do not keep exact match, exactly, you're not getting the spelling right. Okay, sometimes it does happen. So this checkbox, you don't have to think so much about it, right? Better to give this to have a complete accuracy. All right, so now I'll come here, okay? And in here from this, now I'm trying to create it here, right? So this particular person now for me, I can have also a company and I can be on a person also, right? So it can be two way to look at, right? Sometime I do not want to give you my company first, but I will just try to, as a person also, I can own a small business. So I'll take that, okay, this is my name. Can you try to search it, right? Can you try to give me this policy, right? So now I want to, now it's up when and that's what I said, Sushila, that you will learn all these things a little later. So that now in here, Anthony Mark can have a company and it can be a person also, right? So first I will try to see a person. And then we will definitely see how things are there, right? Now creating an account, correct? I'm creating an account, very simple step. All these things, it is already predefined and it's there, right? So whenever you're working as a business analyst or for an example, QA testers, you won't have to, worry about that, okay, do I have to write a requirement for this? What do I do that? No, it's already being there. You already out of the box system, which is being there already. So you have everything on your plate. So you don't have to worry about it, but just learning purpose of Guidewire, a few people already know, well and good, but not everybody knows that, but you understand how the Guidewire workflow start from the very scratch. Okay. But always remember that you do not have to, mostly time, right? Most of the time, exceptions are always there. I'm not talking about exceptions, but most of the time you will not be going and, gathering requirement for creating account for an example, unless and until there are some fields level changes which is needed, okay? So this is very basic one. Now I'll give some address, right? This is also one field which I want to understand, make you guys understand, right? So right now, understand this is a very vanilla system and Guidewire out of the box. Not that everything has been integrated, not that everything you will try to see, which you will typically see in the real world, right? Because there is no integration, there is nothing. This is a vanilla system right now. So generally what happens in address, right? If I try to give any address, correct? So generally I try to, I'll try to give any Walmart address, right? I'll tell you why I'm taking always a Walmart address, right? So I'll tell some Walmart address. Okay. Right? So I'll tell you what is the reason for taking this this kind of address. Okay. So now I'll take this. Okay. First name. Okay. This is the best way to look into it. It's mine. We do this. This is fine. Okay. Now I'll tell you. Let me fill in this details and I'll tell you. Okay. I just filled Arizona and everything is pre-populated. Okay. So this is, I can give anything. I just give home. All right. So I'll tell you right now, I gave real, very right address. If you give a wrong address also, nothing happening currently because it's a vanilla out of the box system, right? So now when actually in real life, we will see this kind of address, right? There is a concept called address standardization, right? So generally all of our address in the US, basically whatever you put, right? And whosoever in US, they will have this tendency to see everything, right? Whenever we put address line 1, we'll see that list of address are coming. and everything is being stored in some of the database, right? So generally, if you try to put wrong address, right? So and in here you will see sometime, right? Address as standardization as in a button where you try to click it, then it will give you like, okay, if it's a wrong address, or automatically also if behind the scene it is there that if you're trying to give some wrong address, right? For an example, instead of 1, I will see 8, and that address does not exist in the database, right? So those kind of error comes, right? So generally right now you won't be able to see anything because it's I don't have any integration with any address database or anything of that sort. So I'll be able to put everything. But the bottom line is this in when you land into the new submission or anywhere where you are putting the address, and there are typically a address standardization where you're generally you should be giving it the right address which is there, right? So that's why I always take that kind of Walmart or any of the US store address which is already there so that I do not get any error. All right. So now
always it will validate for the address in real time when we're
in
working
the
on.
real time, now it depends. It totally depends from client to client, right? Wherever you are working with customer. So definitely it does make sense. So in real life, I have seen multiple places. So it does make sense that yes, a standardized address are there, but if they are not there, then pretty much it's not part of the requirement, for an example. Then that will not make sense, right? Then it's okay, it's not there, it's not there.
So because while testing, if that's the case, then they have to get some real-time addresses and then validate.
That's
all
the
that
reason
way.
I went. Yeah, that is the reason I went to the Walmart and I said, this is exactly how you should
Right.
be doing for the testing. Go to any store, like exactly US address, we'll be working for the US clients, right? So go to the store. Walmart is like everywhere. That's a very common store. It will be like everywhere in an entire United States. So you just go and see for that. And it depends on like which state you are working for, right? Right now, if it is all the 51 state, definitely is a big implementation. You go and see. If it is only 5 or 10 state, right? You go to that particular state. Right now, I just Arizona, right? So if I am from Arizona, I'll select that. So if somebody is there from Minnesota or some other address, New Jersey, New York, so try it like wherever your particular that client is going live and working for, right? Not that every client works for all the states, right? Sometimes it is 4 or 5 states. So try to put the address from Walmart. That's the reason I showed you that. That's how it will help.
Got it.
Makes sense, right? Because you'll get confused, like, okay, what time and generally the best practice, I would say, whenever you have an Excel sheet, right? Whenever you're working as a QA or for BA also, sometime if you're testing the system, right? Try to write all this, in your Excel sheet for the best practice so that every time you do not have to Google search.
Yeah.
Right. You just take that and just put it into the system and it will make your life easy. So that's the main reason I showed it. Okay, so so now we are going to select producer. Okay, so what is the producer, right? So basically, understand the English meaning of producer, who produces business. It's a simple term. Okay, so now you understand in your real life also, right? So sometime what happens, right? Forget about Guidewire, right? So what happens is, you are going to an agent, right? This is typically, and always try to understand from the US point of time, and even in other country also, right? So there are agent, right, who try to tell you that, okay, take this policy, take from this company, because they have some commission, they have some incentive and all those things. We are not going there yet. But understand that we are trying to get a policy. If I'm a customer or somebody, you are a customer. So if you're trying to get a policy, right? So so those are the agent which is like, selling the policy from, and they're working for multiple companies, right? That, okay, some company, they have different commission, some company, they have different commission. I'm just telling a normal example. So they're trying to get, and we say that, okay, yeah, this premium is working fine. This is the right price for me. This is my budget. Let's go with this particular XYZ company, right? So the person like that particular, so in here in the Guidewire system, that is not called agent, right? So they just label change to say that they have this, that particular person is called in here producer. Okay, so the meaning of producer is somebody who produces business. Exactly, like we can name names. So do not get confused with the different naming convention that, okay, this, but understand the meaning of it, like what is the roles and responsibility when you see such terminology into the Guidewire system. Okay, so okay, so now in here right now, if I select something, okay, I just went and search because you are not creating anything of that, right? So if for an example, if this company is XYZ company, I have a list of and for an example, I'm owning a company, right? So I know 100 of agent whom I'm working with, right? So they are the agent who will get a policy and for me. Okay, understand from out of this, right? Out of the Guidewire. So they are the one who is working with me and I am owning an LLC. So I will have their information into my database. Okay, so they are already existing, like same way, right? If you are working for your employer, right? And all the employer has employees information, right? Your employer has your information of your employee ID, what's your name, where is your address, where you belong to, and all those, etc. Right? So whenever you are the first time you were created, definitely your employee ID was created, your name and everything was in database, but not that every time they are creating. It's once created, it is stored. So somebody tried to, Slack you or IM you or Teams message you, they can just put your name and you are there, right? So understand from this, these are example, very different example, which I am right now giving for you to understand it, right? So you're not don't think that it is creating, you are not creating. Right now, in the out of the box system, there are dummy data which is available, right? For us to test, for us to understand the system, etc. But in real world, and you will have this kind of a dummy data when you are working an actual implementation with your client for a very long time. Later on, definitely you as a requirement analyst, business requirement analyst, you will be working with your client to put all the real data, okay, who are there. So that could everything could be uploaded, that you do not have to worry, right? So there are like all the real data will be provided to you, right? But for testing purpose, this is what it is, right? When it will be real data, the same way right now, how the dummy data are coming, the real data is going to come. Okay, you don't have to worry about. Now I'm going to just hit the search. Okay, it's not coming, right? Specify something. So I remember some name. So let me give Arm. Okay, see, I just remember some name, so I gave it, right? Okay, so and exactly this is how when you guys are enrolled, then Lokesh is going to give you Guidewire. I will show you how to upload the sample data, and then this is how you'll be able to see all those things. So exactly this is how it will work for your system also. But understand, this is really dummy data. It's not a very accurate data, right? Your company will provide you, but once it is loaded, this is how it will come. Okay, so do not worry about the accuracy of things, but you should understand that how the business work, what it is, what all the thing it consists of, and what is the information which you are looking for. Okay, I don't have to do anything. I'll just select it right
But
now.
if we are
Okay,
not able to find any producer there, or if something new person has to be added, then we cannot add there.
you can add new producer organization, but it is already sample data. You can definitely add it, right? But like it is not your requirement to add it, right? So you
Okay.
can definitely there is manually add of the process, but right now Guidewire is already providing you all the sample data, right? You can use it. There is no point for that. There won't be any situation or any requirement per se for you to create a producer, because it's all our data which is loaded into the system, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You
Okay.
understand? Right now, it is Guidewire who is providing. When you are working with your company, this dummy data will be always there. But when you are working with actual system, right? So they will your client customer will is going
They
to
will
give
have
you.
it, you mean to say. Yeah.
Exactly. So
Okay.
that's what you will be providing to your developer, and they'll just load it with the data load.
Okay.
Right, so there is no no use of doing all this like create and all, right? We have bigger fish to fry, so we should be worried about more like functionality and all that. But
Okay.
yes, anything manually, definitely you can do it. There is a process of doing that, like organization creation and all those things.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's a long way. Okay, understand now. This is what I searched and it came, right? So similarly, how you are working for a company, right? So your name and name, right? And now you understand this is not individual also. So that is why whenever you are thinking through it, do not always think very, small space, right? The producer could be from like individual also and can be a company also, right? That, okay, I'm working with that particular company and there are, that particular agent like company is working with me, right? Some sort of that kind of a combination can also happen. So that's what, never think about like very small span of space, but rather think very big space, largely that what can happen into the world, how the things are working, and this is why that will give you a broader view. If we completely think very small space, then our mind will be completely revolving because we don't know like outside of our world what's happens, right? So these are the very big giant, very big companies, right? We cannot even imagine such a big company and everybody has insurance, right? So understand sometime right now I'm putting that particular as an Armstrong and Company is one which I'm just putting. It could be a name, it could be anything. I'm putting it into this organization, right? Now producer code is the same way how you have an employee ID, right? Even though your name is there, but definitely you have a unique key, your employee ID, right? It's always there. So, so that's how it is the producer code, right? Everyone will be involved with that particular code, right? In unique thing which will be there, right? Our employee ID, for example. So, and these are all dummy. Do not believe right now it is there that, okay, Armstrong has all this service in San Diego for different line of business and all that. Do not worry about all this, right? It's the way it is designed, but your actual data will have particularly, okay, what is the code you are giving for that particular person and all those things, right? Okay, so now I will just randomly select anything, does not matter,
Yeah,
right?
one generic question. So, is it any insurance regulatory requirement in US to take insurance through producer, agent, or anybody? Is it not like direct applicant and insurance company? Is it always through agent or producer? Is that like that?
I mean, yeah, for sure. So very good question. So you are saying that when you directly approach your company, is that right? You are telling
Yes.
that you individual.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, okay. Now, and the same way I'm telling, right? When we are working for the Guidewire application, right now, so we are not thinking about the individual person as in, right? Because they have a very big businesses, correct? Understand that, right? So in here, right? And mostly time, for an example, if you are taking a personal also, right? In that, and that's what I'm telling about mainly for the US part of it. If I'm taking a personal, how do you take those kind of a policy? Okay, for an example, I'll tell you personal two example. Auto and home is very common, right? So when we are taking a home insurance policy, right? So in here, you cannot live in US, you cannot live without insurance, right? It will never happen that if I'm purchasing a house, right? And I'm purchasing a house and I cannot take insurance. That's not the case, right? So the moment I'm purchasing the what happened in India, right? So in India it's a different kind of a system, and maybe some other country it's a different kind of a system, but in US the moment I'm purchasing the house I have to have the insurance. So now I'll tell you how that works, right? So whenever I'm just purchasing one house, right, for an example, and there are some, I'm taking loans, there are some company, there are third party, all those things are involved for signature and all those things. I'm not going down that detail, right? The moment there will be a type of choice of insurance I will be given, right? So who is the one who is working on? It's the agent who is working on, even though it's my personal policy, but I am directly not approaching the company for that, right? Now, second way of looking into this one is when you are directly going to your your application, right? So you will go to your application, right? That, okay, I want individually for this one. You can definitely go into that company site and you can fill in, right? You can fill in that data. But generally, whenever maximum time it just happen that there are agents always involved who is trying to sell the policy to you in the betterment of your thing. So which is why this is a very important field which will be here. And you do not, personal policy is very less scope you are thinking through, but it is lot of large data which is being involved. Very big giants are being involved. So definitely there are, and it is this producer, whatever you are seeing, right? That similarly you'll see agent and all, they have a very bigger picture to play. Correct. So this is how the Guidewire has designed that right now, wherever it is there has to be involved with the sum of the agent, right? Now, if you are going directly into the company portal and you are trying to, so in the personal line also, it will happen that it's always agent who is connecting with you, right? If for the vehicle also, so the agent will, agent has sent, for an example, when you're taking for the home insurance policy, right? So agent sent that, okay, before your house is even like you completely signed off, you get an option like, okay, these are the 5 policy, which one do you want to, right? This is the premium, this is the premium for this coverage. Now you pick and choose, right? So pick and choose, okay, this is my, based on my premium, this is everything, okay, I'm taking this one, right? So that's for the agent. So agent definitely get commission, right? Similarly for auto also. So in auto, whenever going to get an auto from the dealership, you have to have the policy. Okay, you have to have, and that time they're also the agent, and they will be like, okay, maybe their agent is sitting inside the dealership and whatsoever. So they'll be trying to, send a list of these things that, okay, you have to select if you really wanted to go. If you have your own, you can definitely convert it, right? So this is how the things are being designed, and this is how you cannot not have this and then proceed. Okay. So now if I update it in here, this Anthony Mark, the name which I gave, is being created. Okay. Do not worry of, see, I did not, I'm just again telling you this, do not worry about this all. This is some dummy data. This is just coming. Do not worry about all this thing. This should be completely 0, but somehow some data is coming for in out of the box. Do not worry about it. But this is all blank. I do not have any policy in this, right? And that's why you are seeing the status as pending. Okay, this is just an account. I do not have anything in account, no policy, nothing. All the policy and everything you'll be able to see in here if I create it. If I create one, you'll be able to see in here, right? So you're not seeing anything. Okay, this is how this is person. I created account, which is right now, it's created. Now, if I am going to create a submission, I won't create a submission, but I'll show you. So it's every action, whichever you are doing, okay, you have to be into that particular space and then click on action. So that's how you'll be able to do anything for that particular space. Okay, if I'm into this account, I'll create a policy, right? I'll have to come to action. Right. That time also, if you saw, I have to create an account. I went into the account and create a new account. See here, if you have to create an account, you have to create from here. Now, once your account is created, you have to be in this space to do anything. Right. So this is actionable button you can see in here. So now if you want to create a policy, right? So there is nothing called, you'll see the create policy. No, you'll see the, as per Guidewire is a new submission. And this submission once created, then that is being you'll see a policy number is being generated. Okay. For an example, I created this one. Okay, this now you are seeing all these things which is coming here, right? So this is for the like mix match completely. The commercial is also, you see, right? Somebody asked this question in the very beginning. So now you're seeing it. Now, definitely this can be very much restricted, right? Right now I'm seeing anything and everything. If my account is only for personal level, maybe I should be only able to see personal line, like, okay, Indian Marine, personal auto, homeowner. Okay, I should not be able to see that. Those customization could be definitely very well do if and only if your client wants that, right? So you can, and that makes sense also. So that's why right now, whenever you're working on this system, you'll get confused, right? So you'll get confused at what am I seeing right now, everything I'm seeing, but do not worry about it. This is your out of the box system. The way you want that, okay, if my account is only personal, then only this line of business can come. And if this is only so many of them are in the out of the box, there are more to it, right? You are not seeing cyber, you are not seeing, so many things which is not being provided out of the box, right? So only specific client, they definitely want it. And some of your client, for an example, only 2 line of business they're working, right? So then definitely you do not have to show everything, right? Your developers will not show that. Okay, so they will hide all those things. So that's why it will not come for the option. So only thing will come which is there for your particular client, right? So not some clients only work, some clients only work on homeowner and personal auto, then well and good. Not every client work on compensation. Very less client work on for an example, you don't have to show that. So this is how you can do the customization in here. Sometime you will also see that, okay, cyber is coming. So if that particular client is working for cyber, then you will also see umbrella insurance. So there are a lot of line of business which can be seen here, right? So now this is a handful of it, which you can see right now for out of the box. Okay, you cannot see more than that. Okay, so now very well, and like personal auto you're seeing here, right? And then the differentiation here is you'll see commercial auto. So commercial will be different. Personal will be totally about your personal thing which you are going to take it, right? When you select there, and we'll see only this much. So not sure why system. Okay, see here, right? You don't see anything called policy number. You're not seeing. Now this submission number, right? So now this is called submission wizard. So now submission number is some number which generated, right? So generally every time whenever the transaction is going to happen, there are a number which will tag to this, right? So now submission is started. Something is started in this particular account. You're seeing account number where we'll see this blue color. You can definitely navigate into that submission, that particular account if you want to see more of this, right? So this is how the submission is there. Now inside this submission, we'll be giving all the information, right? All the information about driver, vehicle, and all this, right? This is for personal auto. So you see if line of business is being coming here, right? There is effective date. When I started line of business, the first page which we have seen, there was effective date. So the effective date of this is effective date of my policy, right? So if I'm taking a policy, right, like say Anthony is taking a policy, so Anthony policy will be effective from 3/31, right? Automatically it takes system date, right? But yeah, definitely you can change it to future effective date and all those. That will be like your client specific requirement, how many how many days or month your client is allowing for future effective date, etc. And if there are if you're going to take for 2 months and more than 2 months is not allowed for your customer, definitely you should have some validation rule that, okay, only allowed for this particular time period, right? Future effect, in future you can only take for this many months, some sort of that kind of a things, right? We'll definitely see more into detail. But I'm trying to tell you guys, like now account is being created, and every time whenever things account has created or policy number will created as this, you see the number, right? This is my account number. So this number are generated here, okay? And then now when I went into that account, I started creating submission. Now you'll see everything. So this is the key information which we'll be providing in order to create a policy, right? And all this premium and everything, all the magic happens on inside here. Right, so we will tomorrow we'll walk through everything. What is the meaning of offering, qualifications, what is there in the contract, what is policy info, and all these details, right? So this is very much customer related data which we'll be entering through. We'll be looking what is the use of coverages, what kind of a coverage, how the premiums are coming, etc. So we'll navigate everything. And whenever you're working as a BA or a QA, these are very much a screen you'll be, working through when you're working for personal auto. So you'll be walking through all this particular screen. This is out of box, and all this screen will be your specific requirement from your customer client, right? When I say customer, do not get confused with insured. That's who is getting insured. No, when I say insurer, carrier, company, right? So XYZ company who is providing the insurance. So that particular client. So you will be trying to understand that, okay, what was there into the legacy of the customer. You'll have one-on-one session, requirement gathering session, where you'll try to, walk them through, make them understand. So now you have so the beauty of Guidewire is you have already everything on here, right? So you're doing a customization in this particular system. So you're not building anything from the scratch. So it's a very nice requirement gathering sessions, which you can always have. We will learn more about that into the next session. But you'll have this system, so you can definitely go drop down, show them that, okay, these are things which is coming. What do you expect to have? So all those things are visuals are very good. And every time the customer will like this kind of, business owner, you'll be working for product owner. So product owner will definitely like such kinds of visual, and they can tell you that, okay, this is not there, I want this particular field, etc. And then that's how you document document required. So tomorrow we are going to see the document, how do you write document, what is agile, how those things are doing. But before that, I wanted to show you how this system looks like, so that now whenever we jump to the requirement writing and the way of writing requirement, you can relate to that, all this thing which is being seen here. Okay. We'll see a little bit of Scrum ceremonies, what is being done there, and then further we'll navigate to all this particular screen and see what kind of requirement, what is in the real life, what kind of requirement you are going to ask to the customer and everything, right? Because you'll see that, okay, a lot of things are in here, then why am I required? No, you are very much required because this is just out of the box. You have to understand and put all the data specific to that particular insurance company. So that's how the BA does, and QA will be typically testing this requirement, which is already being given by the business analyst. Okay, so we'll see everything in tomorrow's class. All right, I'll stop sharing. Any question?